wondering, why are you wearing a pig onesie? Well, the answer to that is today we're going to be discussing Hamlet. Get it? Hamlet? So, as we know from studying Richard III, Shakespeare wasn't always the best at portraying accurate historical information. But he was also not very good at conveying accurate medical information either. So what we're going to do today is examine some of the deaths in Hamlet and then explain the true medical facts behind them. And for our purposes, we will only be studying the poisonings and not all the other deaths, because if we were to do all the deaths in this play, my project would be way too long. So yeah, we're going to be focusing on Hamlet's father and then everyone basically in Act 5, Scene 2. With the help of a fantastic cast of actors and an extremely high-budget props and wardrobe department, I will reenact the scenes in Hamlet and then explain the real facts behind the deaths. Okay, that was bad. Oh, also, all the act and scene numbers that I'm going to be using are from this book, of course. So, you may be wondering, Kylie, how did you come up with this idea? Well, actually, it came to me in a dream. Shakespeare! You're here again? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. You want me to go over to the bookshelf? Hamlet? Oh, I love this book. What's that? Explain. For the sake of saving time, we'll be doing some minor paraphrasing of the lines. Now, where do we begin? Oh, right, with the death of Hamlet's father. Hamlet, avenge me! I was murdered by your uncle. What? How did he do it? Well, I was taking a nice nap in my garden when all of a sudden he snuck up on me while I was sleeping and poured poison in my ear. He poured poison in your ear? He poured poison in my ear. That's lame. The death of Hamlet's father is pretty pathetic and weird, and there's a lot about it that just doesn't make sense. One of the biggest questions I have about this is, how did he not notice that poison was being poured into his ear? I mean, wouldn't you feel something tickling and then, like, dripping down your face, which would wake you up? But anyway, there's never been a satisfactory answer to this question, and I guess we're just left to assume that he was in a deep sleep because there's not very much textual evidence to support any theories. The next big question that you may have is it even possible for someone to be poisoned through the ear? That is such a weird place to be poisoned. Well, the answer to that question is far too complex to explain in this video, so we'll get back to that later. For now, we'll just assume that it is, in fact, possible to be poisoned in the ear. So, assuming that it is possible to be poisoned through the ear, what kind of poison was responsible for King Hamlet's death? Well, in Renaissance England, most poisons were plant-based, so we can assume that it was one of them. King Hamlet himself calls the poison cursed habona, but that's not helpful at all because there's no such thing as habona. That's not a real poison, so back to the drawing board with that. Now, in order to determine what type of poison it was exactly, let's look at some of King Hamlet's symptoms that he describes when telling Hamlet about his death. He calls the poison a leprous distilment. Sorry, I have to read off my script. I don't have this memorized. Which means that the poison caused his skin to become scaly, like someone affected by the disease leprosy. And he then goes on to say that the poison made his body quickly become covered with a vile and loathsome crust, which is kind of disgusting, actually. Now let's consider some of the popular poisons of the day. Usually the poisons that were used were hemlock, ebony, yew, deadly nightshade, and henbane. And considering King Hamlet's symptoms, it appears that the only ones that are likely to have killed him are hemlock and henbane. I've read several scholarly articles and people can't really seem to come to a consensus, so it's usually either one of the two. It's either hemlock or henbane. Now, the reason that hemlock and henbane are the ones that are considered to be the most likely culprits is because they both work quickly, and we know that King Hamlet died quickly after he was poisoned. However, neither of those poisons create the crust over the body that King Hamlet describes. So most scholars agree that this vile crust is just an invention by Shakespeare. So even though many scholars agree that it was either hemlock or henbane that killed King Hamlet, we'll never really know for sure because a lot of the symptoms that he describes at his death are inconsistent with the symptoms caused by the popular poisons of the Renaissance. So, alright, what scene is next? Oh, Act 4, Scene 4. Alright, Laertes, it's time to finally get rid of our pest problem. Sounds good. I'll put poison on the tip of my sword. Perfect. And for good measure, I'll poison the wine he's gonna drink too, so we can make sure he's extra dead. Don't you think that's a little excessive? Hey, do you want to kill him or not? Oh, great. Now it's time for Act 5, Scene 2. This is gonna be a wild ride. Great job, Hamlet. Here's a pearl for you. Oh, hey, can I have a sip of that? No. It's too early in the day to have a drink. Honey, it's never too early to have a drink. Take that! I'm wounded! Oh man, I got stabbed with my own sword. Nobody drink the wine. I think it's poisoned. Just die already! Ah! No! Nothing I can do now, I guess. Guess I'm dead now. Well, I guess that's it for me. The rest is silence. So as you can see, this is a very complicated scene and there are a lot of people dying. This is far too complex for me to explain all in this video if I want to make it reasonably short. So now I'm going to move on to the PowerPoint. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so far, and please stay tuned for the rest of my presentation.